So how do you intro your show? No, I mean, how do you intro it?
You about to see.
Okay, good.
Broadcasting live from the Executive Lounge, starring Mr. Kamawe and Pezo Coconut Johnson.
So once again, this is Kamawe. Remember to put a Mr. in front of my name. I'm your big brother's big brother. Broadcasting live from the Executive Lounge. I'm here with my co-host.
That's right, Pezo Coconut, man. We here, Executive Lounge, where culture matters. You know, we taking things all around. That's right, when you go in the airport, and if you like that, if you that boss, you in the Executive Lounge. So, matter of fact, we got a boss with us today, an engineer. This dude is like Africa's, I don't know, I can't really compare him to somebody that's here, that's on the hip-hop scene, but he, helped birth the hip-hop in Africa, one of the engineers, one of the pioneers. So that's major. So, you gotta go ahead and give him all the props and all the stripes. You know what I'm saying? NOTA.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was having a chat with somebody. Thank you guys for welcoming me. And they're like, yo, man, you never explain what you mean by, like, you're one of the guys that founded South African hip-hop and as a commercial expert. And I always look back at, like, references or people that I could compare myself to from here that you guys could get a reference. I mean, Bad Boy, that era, you could say that they like really founded commercial mainstream hip hop.
Shiny suits, yeah.
All that stuff, you know what I mean? Big budget videos, big commercial partnerships and stuff like that. So I was involved in that phase of South African hip hop. Not really the foundation phase, but pioneering the business aspect of it.
Okay.
And
okay. Okay.
So you could compare me to like the Bad Boy era.
So Puff?
Yeah.
No.
It's not Puff.
Not Puff.
Not Puff. Let's do Dame.
Look, you can say whatever you want about Puff, but let me tell you something. When I was 6 years old, I was Puff Daddy. I was in the passageway, in the hallway with my little brother. My little brother was Mace. And we turned the lights off and we create that little tunnel Hype Williams effect.
Right.
You cannot take that away from my history. Without Puff, there's no me. There's no me entering into hip hop. There's no me becoming a music executive. There's no me having an ambition to be a mogul. I've never met Puff in my life.
Right.
He's changed my entire life.
Wow.
All the way from the bottom of the world. I mean, after South Africa, there's Antarctica. Exactly.
Right.
So, it is what it is.
So who inspired you to kick off the hip hop culture there in South Africa?
Puffy.
Puffy was the one that inspired
That's the
you?
one. So what happened is my mother watched a movie. I think it was a movie called Kids, right? It's a skateboarding movie, has nothing to do with hip hop, really. Some white boys, they'd be skateboarding in California, emptying out their pools, and they'd wear their pants, baggy pants, like sagging, So the kids that sag their pants really inspired me. So I went home and I started sagging my pants because I watched the movie, right? And then my dad, I was just speaking to him earlier today, again. My dad was like, yo, pull your pants up, like stop wearing your pants, like where did you learn that at? So then I decided, actually I'm gonna wear my pants like this all the time. It made him that angry. I was like, I've always been trolling my dad. You know what I mean? So then I started sagging my pants because I saw that my dad got really upset about it. I was like, yeah, okay, I get a reaction out of him. And then my mother went to a music store in a place called Sandton. It's in Johannesburg. So Sandton is known as the richest square mile in Africa. So that's like a really affluent place. So I was raised around a lot of privilege, even though, back home, my dad was fighting to, my dad fought to put us amongst all the best white kids, the best black kids, the richest kids. We'd be there, you know what I mean? But we'd be the brokest ones there. You know what I mean? Because we're just barely making it.
Right.
And my mother went to the CD store and she asked the guy who was working at the record store back in the day. So the kids who are watching this right now, they don't even have an understanding of what this is. And the guy at the record store said, oh, you want music for the kids that sag their pants? And then that's where my first CD collection came from. And I had Puff Daddy singles, he invented the remix, all that type of stuff that was tagged in the singles. I had Notorious B.I.G.'s album, as well. And yeah, that was like my entry into hip hop. I read the what you call
Discography.
no the what's inside the disc, the inlay,
Yeah.
the CD inlay. You know, I read the CD inlay, saw the names of the people that were involved in the making of the music. Started finding out, okay, what is each person's role. And I had like an encyclopedia online, an encyclopedia collection at school. By the time I got to school, so I could read about what was happening in the music business from what I was reading in the CD inlays and finding the descriptions of everyone's job. So I told myself at 6 years old that I want to be Puff Daddy.
Oh wow.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the thing is, you've been in the States for a little bit.
Now, yeah,
Last few months.
yeah.
So there's a transition.
And when I came to the States, I moved to Harlem.
Oh man, so you right in the mix of all the culture there.
That's Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
following in the footsteps. Yeah.
So you've been a part of breaking that hip hop ground over there.
Yeah.
But now there's a different reason why you're here,
Yeah.
which is Amapiano, right?
Well, I mean, it's still hip hop.
Okay. So explain that, because
So people would think that Amapiano is different from hip hop. It's not. It's just a different sound that South Africa's gone into. The hip hop in South Africa is very diverse because it's influenced by our various cultures. And so America has got like, you know, a storied history with hip hop and where it emanates from. And that came at a time when the recording industry was already developed. So that is where, you know, they draw a lot of their references and their inspiration from either recorded music or like the historic music that was like sung in the churches, you know, the Negro spiritual, that type of vibe. In South Africa, we've got a lot more history to draw from and a whole lot more cultural influences. So that's why our hip hop sounds more diverse. And now we're also coming into our own with new sounds that we're creating. Just in the same way, trap. We're in Atlanta right now. Trap from 2012 onwards. Trap has been the predominant sound of hip hop now. It's like 11 years later. You know, that's been it. Yes, you've had your little drill wave that came up in the late, you know, 2010s, so like 2019 drill started popping, but with the passing of Pop Smoke, it really fizzled out. You know, there weren't really many big stars that carried that sound. Now you got your Jersey club that's coming in. It's, you know, it's popping in New York and stuff like that, but it's not really as big as what trap was. You know, it's not defining what hip hop is. You know, it's just a new sound that people are dabbling in. When it comes to Amapiano, that is the trap of South African hip hop.
Okay.
So
Amapiano,
it's our yeah.
Okay.
So and it comes from trap. So what happened is that in trap, a lot of the music was based on the 808 drum, and the way in which the 808 would be used in trap is that it's a lot more melodic. So you wouldn't play it like just a simple like thumping beat. You know, you play with the 808 itself. The 808 has a melody. And
frequencies.
You understand what I'm saying? In Amapiano, we use the log drum. The same way the log drum is used in the 808 in trap music is the way we use it in Amapiano. Except, you know, we've been able to take from trap and then having, you know, stood on the shoulders of those giants, been able to develop it further. So just as much as, you know, in trap, the real guys that are looked at as the goats of traps are the producers. Same thing with Amapiano. You know, your Metro Booming is like, you know, your Gabs of the Small.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mike Will.
you know, Maporisa. You know, you could... So if you look at Amapiano as South African, its own type of trap or own type of hip-hop or subgenre, then you'll understand how it comes together. The origins of hip-hop generally, you know, with the DJ and the MC on the mic, Amapiano started like that. It started out with guys just playing, you know, beats, you know, broken beats, mixing up tracks, and then you have an MC hyping up the crowd, you know, that ended up turning into rhymes, raps, lyrics, songs, and then it got infused into the recording industry, and that's the Amapiano that you guys get to hear now.
Right. So the Amapiano that I feel it has a lot of energy that hip hop did when it first started. Cause I see that the DJ is like one of the main forerunners for the Amapiano.
No.
It's the producer.
No. That's a mischaracterization. You're correct in that the DJ is the main forerunner, but that's just for South African music in general. Yeah.
Okay.
So in South Africa, the DJ is the rock star.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The vocalists are vocalists.
Right.
They're hired hands.
They're hired hands, and that's how hip hop started.
So
Yeah.
why do you think that Amapiano was caught on the way it did? Because like you said, South Africa has always kind of been on the forefront in African music. We know that.
Yeah.
Because we grew up hearing all the legends.
Yeah.
Why is it that this genre has caught on the way it is? From your interpretation, what do you think it is?
It's exactly that. Everything that I've told you, it took from trap, which became the predominant genre of the world. You listen to reggaeton, it's trap. It's just Latin trap. Like right now, like trap runs everything all over the world. So we took from trap, we stood on the shoulders of trap and just developed a new sound.
Okay.
The only difference is the sonic signature of the drum. So the sonic signature of the 808 is a more depressive sound. You know, it makes you want to listen to the music alone in isolation, whereas the 808 sonic signature, the log drum sonic signature is more upbeat. So it's more cheerful and it makes you want to listen to the music in a social setting.
Right.
So you want to listen to it amongst people.
Right.
Whereas with trap, you can listen to it in your headphones all by yourself while walking, you know what I mean? And that's the only real difference. But we took everything that trap had gotten right to become a global genre, and then we infused that in Amapiano and changed certain things that we felt like were more, I guess they were more correlative with our own culture. Let me give you a perfect example. And we've got other guests that are coming, they'll elaborate more on this further. There's a song, right? I don't know the name of the song, but they'll correct me. I forgot the name of the song, right? But it's got like a drum pattern that's like very repetitive. And in South Africa, the dance move that we do is like to beat on air drums when that comes in. Last night we were in the club and everybody was like holding a little Tommy gun. They were like, no, we don't glorify gun culture in our music because you know it could get really bad. You know what I mean? Like it could get that bad. So that's the difference in culture. Whereas in America, there's nothing wrong with glorifying gun culture and violence and everything else. Whereas we like to glorify things that are about connecting us to our heritage, our ancestral spirituality as well. So if you listen to the songs, they're all about how people have a desire to either connect deeper with their ancestors, connect deeper spiritually, or to correct the wrongs that have been done within their own families. Like, let's say they speak about their fathers being absent and how they're coming to terms with it. They don't just speak about, oh, my dad left me, while I was still young. I hate that guy, which is Eminem, American hip hop. That's the vibe. They'd be like, my dad wasn't around when I was young, and now that I'm older, I kind of understand the stuff that he was going through, and I just, wherever he is, I want him to know that I still love him and I forgive him and I understand that he's human. So that's a very different way to express one's feelings, one's own frustrations. When you put it into a song, you know that this thing is going to live with people, and you've got a responsibility to make sure that your message is building. And that's what the spirit of Amapiano is that we're not destructive. We can speak about things that are destructive in culture, but we do it as a form of constructive criticism.
So the thing about Amapiano and just trying to research it, I think one of the things that me and Pezo talked about a lot is using this platform to help the viewer actually identify how to find the music, how to listen to it, because a lot of people that are curious, you have your playlist, you have this, how would you, somebody that knows very little about Amapiano, what would you tell them to do?
You have to book a flight. Delta Airlines flies directly 16.5 hours. So if you can fly directly from Atlanta to Johannesburg. I think they've even got a flight to Cape Town, but Cape Town you won't get the vibe. You have to come to South Africa. There's no way you can understand Amapiano unless you come to South Africa, unfortunately.
So, and like, if somebody who really doesn't know, like, even African music as far as Afrobeats and Amapiano, Tell us the difference between the two.
Well, look, South Africa is a very developed country.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it dominates everything from a cultural perspective. So Afrobeats is just like West Africa's kwaito. So we had a big genre in South Africa called kwaito. It was very big, and a lot of the West African artists got influenced by that. But not just influenced. When they needed to promote their own music, they needed to come to South Africa because all the TV channels are based there. MTV in Africa is based in South Africa. You know, BET, whatever, you name it, all based in South Africa. So all of the artists, the big artists, whether it be Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy, all of them had to develop their craft in South Africa. So Afrobeats was like a genre that had, you know, the lyrics that come from the pidgin English or, you know, the street slang from West Africa, right? Where there was a genre that was emerging from Ghana called high life. And then what they did is that they slowed that down towards a kwaito tempo so that it could also be played in the clubs down in South Africa, which is where they spent a lot of their time. And that's where Afrobeats really developed. And then it got adopted in Nigeria by the Nigerians because the artists that were making the music were Nigerian artists. Whereas the sound that they were making before, I don't know if one would call it Afrobeats, right? But now everything that comes from Nigeria is called Afrobeats. The sound that was emerging before was a much more traditional Nigerian sound or West African sound. You know, you had big guys before. When the biggest guy that you could say launched the big Nigerian contemporary global wave is a guy called Two-Face Idibia. You know, so he had a song called African Queen, which blew up all across the continent. This is prior to Afrobeats being coined as Afrobeats.
Okay.
So he didn't identify as an Afrobeats artist. Beyond him, then came other guys. You know, there was a guy called Don Jazzy, and he created a collective called the Mo Hits Collective. And D'banj was one of the main guys, part of that. And then D'banj eventually got signed to Good Music. And they signed D'banj predominantly because they wanted Don Jazzy to do production work for them. You know, and that's where you could say the wave of Nigerian artists, you know, started from D'banj, and then that developed into Afrobeats later on. Once artists like your Wizkids then started popping off, and then you need to name this genre. Right. And they gave it a name of Afrobeats.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a deliberate, okay, this is the sound that we're going for, everyone's producing this sound. It was like, oh, this is what's working. The artists are working on that sound, and it also works down in the clubs in South Africa because a lot of the DJs are playing there and popularizing the music, making sure that it's also promoted on all the big continental TV channels that are based in South Africa, and that's how it blew up. So South Africa has a very large role to play in the expansion of Afrobeats.
Okay.
And that's why, you know, it's also then been able to promote Amapiano on top of that because all of these people come through the same channels either way.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard somebody was telling me that Afrobeats kind of started in the UK first, and then it transitioned over to Africa.
Kind of blew up.
Yeah, it blew up in the UK.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it started in South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. So it started in South Africa because that's where the artists would come down. That's where you do your radio run. It's like here in Atlanta, you could be big, you know, you're big all over the South, but you have to go to New York to go do your thing. You know what I mean? So South Africa is a little bit of like a New York
Right.
Of Africa.
Yeah, that's
when
what,
it comes to
that's
that.
what he was describing, and that's what I was thinking in my head, like in New York. You know what I mean?
So P, like the other day I was talking to him and he was like, and I was just asking him about the artists that are coming to the States. And he was like, he mentioned this one guy who we're actually about to see, but he was like, you really need to get Robot Boy. And you were talking about the role that the dancers play, or the guys that have that other element, the dancing part of it.
That most important element, yeah. Because
yeah.
a lot of people, like, I'll elaborate on what I was telling Mr. K earlier. So, a a lot of people don't understand that the reason why Amapiano has blown up is because South Africa's got the best dancers in the world. That's just a simple reason.
This is getting crazy.
Yeah, seriously.
I had to stop this show.
Like you guys are amazed by Michael Jackson. Everyone in South Africa can dance like Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. It's not special. Robot Boy can dance like Michael Jackson. I had Robot Boy out at Bryant Park, ice skating, moonwalking while ice skating. Imagine, number one, it's a black man ice skating. Number two, you know, he's still black. And he's moonwalking while ice skating, spinning around, doing Michael Jackson moves. So the dance culture is like really big. And we communicate through our dancing. So when you take South Africa's dance culture and then you put it on a platform like TikTok, and then you show the rest of the world the magical dancing that comes from South Africa. Obviously, they cannot do that themselves. They're going to be enthralled by it. You know what I mean? They're going to just keep scrolling and searching for more and more videos. Whatever music you put on that dancing is going to become popular because people are just mesmerized by the dancing. And that's it. It's just that South Africa needed an opportunity to showcase its dancing ability. The dancers are the most important people. Every single song that you know that is an Amapiano has got a dance associated to it, and that's the dance that makes it popular. That's the dance that the kids want to, you know, emulate.
Right. But see, that's the reason why I feel, in my personal opinion, that hip hop is slowing down right now, because it started with the dancing. That one of the elements, the main elements, it was DJing, MCing, breakdancing, graffiti. So dancing was the main thing. Breakdancing, when people were breaking out cardboards, when you walking down the street anywhere, they be a crew of people breakdancing right there. You know what I mean? So, and people would stand around and give money, and this was a normal thing every single day. So breakdancing was the main thing that really pushed the culture forward. So that's what I see. Well, I'm a P. I call it I'm a P. Well, I'm a P is that the dancing.
I'm a P.
Yeah, I'm a P. Yeah. So with that, I see the culture with the dancing, because when it brings excitement to a viewer who's watching. You know,
it's magical.
It's magical. It is.
And then the second thing about it is that we also have the talent of having the most beautiful women in the world in South Africa. And it's,
I will not disagree.
Yeah. Like,
he just agreed with that one.
The thing about South Africa is the diversity. That people that don't understand what diversity means. It means every one of the best features that come from different nations from all around the world, you'll find them in South Africa. You'll find all 54 states in Africa in South Africa. You understand? If you go out to a party, you'll meet a Kenyan. You'll meet a Nigerian, you'll meet someone from Congo when you go out and party in South Africa. So you'll meet all of Africa when you go out there. You know what I mean? All the best of Africa. And then when you meet the women, you know, the ones that you find are the most beautiful are the ones that you're most likely to want to give children. So genetically, you know, we're just producing these beautiful looking babies, you know, who've got all the best features.
Hey. You see how New Yorkers, you see how when New Yorkers do, you know how New Yorkers do, that's exactly what it's like. New Yorkers, New York.
We're just producing those beautiful babies, and you know what I mean? So even fashion, you know, the Shein models on Instagram, when the South African girls put on those outfits just look amazing. That outfit will never look that good on you. You just don't have the South African body for that outfit. But trust me, you'll want to have that outfit. You'll wish that outfit could give you that South African body. But that's why those videos do so well online. Now when you put our music on top of that, then it does even better. So you got a song that is like very much Afrobeats influenced by a rapper from South Africa called KO. It features Blackie and Youngstown. It's called Sete. So all the Shein, is it Shein or Shine or Shein? That thing on the Chinese thing where they buy clothes, whatever it is, right? All the models use that song, right, while they were modeling all these outfits, and you know, and then you just see on Instagram a whole lot of beautiful South African girls or African girls with beautiful bodies, you know, just modeling to the song, and that's how that song becomes popular. It's not a dance; it's just girls modeling tight-fitting clothing. When you add the dance element to it, you know, it's out of here. It's out of here, because that's when the little kids can do it. You know, I was telling someone that the secret to Michael Jackson, that people don't understand, is that Michael Jackson sounds like a child. And therefore, as a child grows up, when they first hear Michael Jackson, they relate with him as their contemporary. It doesn't matter how old you are. You don't look at Michael Jackson as an artist that your parents listen to. You relate with Michael Jackson as an artist that you listen to as a child.
Right.
Doesn't matter when you were born. The kids born in the 90s, the first year Michael Jackson. Kids born in the 2000s, the first year Michael Jackson. And it's because they can emulate his voice. It's only when your voice breaks that you cannot sing like Michael Jackson songs anymore. But by then you've already got the love.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that I can give you that, because that's one of the only few artists that if you talk to somebody right now that's 13, 12, whatever, they know who Michael Jackson is. You can't go to another artist and ask them about another artist that's the age of Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? So
it's ageless. It's
ageless.
childlike.
Right.
So he maintained that childlike appeal, and that's what the dancing element of Amapiano does. Is that even if the kids don't understand what the lyrics are saying, and some of the lyrics they shouldn't be listening because they get deep. I mean, you listen to a song by TYLA, Water. If you listen to that with adult ears, you can hear that, hey, it's not just, pure water. You know what I mean? Exactly. But, she's got the dance to it, so the kids want to do the challenge with the water bottles down their neck and everything else. They're not listening to the lyrics. They're just dancing to the movement, and that's why Amapiano, moves the children so much, because they want to do the dance moves. It's like a challenge to them. Right. So that's a lot of the influence. A lot of that influence also comes in from like Atlanta, when movies like Stomp the Yard came out. Yeah. That whole entire culture came to South Africa. I think Robert Boy is a little bit younger, but he was a kid when that movement started, but he was one of those kids that did that whole entire he'll tell you all of that, so that's where it comes in. So the good thing about him is that he's been able to traverse the transitioning from South Africa being a very much American influenced hip hop to now its own hip hop, to then eventually Amapiano, because it happened in phases. So at first, it was okay, fine, we sounding like boom bap. We're taking it from America, we're trying to replicate it. Once we started being able to replicate it, right, then we started emulating it a lot more. When trap came about, the music itself was made on the same software. So now technologically, there's not a gap. We're using the same Fruity Loops, using the same 808 beats, you know what I mean? Eventually we'll be able to catch up to the production styles that you've got in the States. And then our trap then started sounding just as good, as from a beat to sonic perspective.